Oh, shoot. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to another episode of the Collaboration Culture Podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Winborn, joined by my guest, Tiffany Bargeman. Let me introduce her so we can dive right in because I know Tiffany has some things to say.
I
Okay.
do.
She has some things to say, but let me introduce her. Tiffany Bargeman believes when people have the information they need, they can make the best decisions for themselves. She loathes the waste of any valuable resource, especially business knowledge. This is why she founded Friendpreneurship LLC to build community among entrepreneurs through relationship building and live storytelling events. Walking in the shoes of the relentless entrepreneur compels this visionary to show them what it means to be a friendpreneur, a friendly entrepreneur who isn't afraid to bring others along for success. And so, during our Women's History Month spotlight, we are as many days this month, if every day I would do it, but as many days this month, we are going to be highlighting business women, women entrepreneurs, but specifically, we are targeting and focusing on the members of the Praying SheE.O. But if there's anyone else who would like to be featured, all you have to do is give a small donation to the nonprofit, and we would love to feature you as well. And I really do mean whatever is on your heart's desire to give, because that's what we want to do. We want to serve leaders, serve the community, and be able to spotlight as many people as we can all the time, not just Women's History Month. So welcome, Tiffany. Somebody
Thank
says,
you very
Lisa
much.
says, hi, superstar.
Hey, Lisa.
She's talking to you.
Lisa's my friendpreneur. Yes, we've been working together on some projects lately. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I've been working with Lisa for about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know, Lisa might know. But I am so excited to have you, Tiffany. Now, is there anything that you want to add to the introduction that I may have missed?
No, you said it well. The main thing is the main thing, making sure
Mhm.
people have the information they need. And it stems from, I guess, way back in elementary school, and looking back, I can think of many, many times when I did not have information. Of course, in the moment, I didn't know, I didn't have enough. But looking back, I think if I had only known this or if I'd only known that, I may have made a different decision, which would have had a
Mm-hmm.
different outcome. So I just believe that if I can share information, valuable, engaging, useful information, that's what I'm going to do. So
Absolutely.
that's what you said.
So Miss Sheila says, hi, friend.
Actually,
So let's talk about friendpreneurship. How do we get to the name friendpreneurship? So we know the concept and what it means. How did you get to that name?
so last year, I started this business as a revamp of my previous business, which was Grand Concierge. And it was all about telling people about good things. And I used social media management to do that. But while I was running that business, I started having these interviews with entrepreneurs about their
Mm-hmm.
why. And I just do a live IG chat on Fridays. And some ladies that were working with me, we were trying to think of a creative name for it. And we came up with Friendpreneurs because we thought, okay, I'm out here in these networking streets and I'm meeting so many people, building relationships. And truly, I feel like I'm making friends and
Mm-hmm.
we're all entrepreneurs. So it came in as Friendpreneurship. But it became much more than just a word. I started understanding why God gave me that particular name
Mm-hmm.
as I networked more and built relationships more. And I say it's a friendly entrepreneur who is not afraid to bring others along for success. A friendpreneur is because it manifested this way. So when I was discouraged,
Mm-hmm.
because entrepreneurship is hard, it's not a bed of roses all the time. I was discouraged to a point of giving up because I had set aside a certain amount of money and I said, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I had my plan. I had
Yeah.
my plan. And I thought, okay, well, when this is over, this part of the money is gone. I think I'll just say I did my best and wrap it up, call it a day. And I was ready
Mm-hmm.
to literally bury my business, cry my tear, drink a little wine, and go to sleep. That's what I was going to do. But my phone rang, and it was a friendly entrepreneur who was not afraid to bring me along for success. She didn't just say, Tiff, it's going to be all right. Woo, woo, woo. No.
Mm-hmm.
Also said, now, this is what you do next.
Yeah.
And met Lisa actually through the Launch an Ideal program because that was my next step. And
Mm-hmm.
Friendpreneurship manifested as that person who cared enough to say, this is what you can do. It's going to be all right, but do this. That's how it became to me. It became to mean so much more to me than just a word.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's
And I love all of the little, little details that you've added when it comes to building out the community. Now, I want
Mhm,
to take a step back for a second, though, and talk about that shift, that pivot. A lot of times, entrepreneurs, as you said, entrepreneurship is tough, especially if you're used to a specific thing. But it does take a lot of growth and mindset,
mhm.
and all of those daily tasks and intentions that we should all be doing, but definitely to encourage and empower and motivate oneself to
Yes.
thrive. So you decided you had started on one path with one business and then had to shift. Can you talk just a little bit about that process to take? I'm sure you put a lot of time and energy into that to take that
Mhm.
to shift to this. Can you share a little bit about that journey?
Absolutely. And this is where I hope my story resonates with others because I jumped into business head first without a business plan. I just had the passion, I had the idea, I had the belief talent, I believe I had the talent, but I didn't have a business plan. If I had a business plan, it was trial and error.
Yeah.
And that's not technically a good way to start a business. However, not knowing enough, when it comes to essential business knowledge, I just jumped in and I thought, well, I can do it. Other people
Mhm.
are successful. Why can't I be?
Yeah.
But over time and a short period of time, it became apparent that, there's so much more to this. And when that entrepreneur called me and gave me, I would say, the keys to my next,
Hmm.
um, getting into a program, an entrepreneurial incubator that taught me the fundamentals and showed me what a business plan was all about and how much goes into it. There's so much in a business plan that you really have to understand and research. So people who go to school for business, they study this stuff and they know it, they can talk to it. I went to school, I majored in English, I didn't go for business, and my career has been mostly around communication.
Mm.
So launching a business, yes, I can do the communication part and I'm good at that, but everything else that's behind the scenes that matters and helps you actually operate and be successful, that's the stuff I had to learn. And it was after almost failing and giving up that that door opened where I could actually get the opportunity to learn, the access to the knowledge. So I
Yeah.
want everybody to have the knowledge.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so key. You had to take a step back and look at things again. But
Hmm.
then when you started afresh, you started the right way with the
Hmm.
business plan, which helps to execute the vision. You have a
Hmm.
plan, what's the word tell us? Without a plan, the people perish, right? And so now you have a plan. You are no longer perishing, you are
Hmm.
thriving. And I'm sure that's still a daily process. That's
Yes.
sometimes you may have successes and you may have some things that you have to adjust. And
Hmm.
so let's talk about that even in the process of pivoting,
Hmm.
shifting to a different direction, and now feeling confident, a little bit more confident about the direction in which you're heading, at least excited, but still
Yes.
having to continue to learn and shift and learn and
Yes.
shift. What has been that primary thing that kept you going? I know you have your friendpreneurs, and you mentioned something, one, well, sort
Hmm.
of. So, what is
Hmm.
something that keeps you going daily?
Prayer. I couldn't wait for you to just let me say the word prayer, prayer, prayer. because without it, I see a difference in how my days go. If
Mhm.
I hit the ground running and I forget, or I just say a quick little thing and keep it moving, I see how my days go. But
Mhm.
in the shift that happened where I was deciding, okay, I'm going to have to step back,
Mhm.
rethink this thing and do it differently. That was it was a spiritual process
Mhm.
actually, because it challenged who I was as a person,
Yeah.
having to change who I was from a planner, a non-risk taker, into a risk taker who is willing to put something out that's not quite perfect
Mhm.
and be willing to know that something's going to have to change yet again. That was painful for me. And I gave this analogy before to somebody who asked me what it was like. If you remember the Warner Brothers cartoons, there was an episode where, I don't know, a cat, a bunny, or something was pulling another animal through a door. And that
Mhm.
animal was holding on to that door jamb, just refusing to let go because he didn't want to go through the door.
Uh-huh.
That's how I felt through that whole 10-week incubator. I felt like I was being pulled against my whole will into a new place
Yeah.
because it was hard, uncomfortable. It was hard, but it was necessary
Mhm.
because growth doesn't always feel good. And when I had to convince myself or allow myself to be taught that it's okay to stretch and do things differently, it's
Mhm.
okay to not know the whole story from beginning to end. It's okay to know what you do know, try it, and then iterate as you get feedback. It's okay, Tiffany,
Mhm.
to do it that way. I had to really make a mindset shift.
Yeah.
And when I did, and I launched, when it finally happened, it wasn't as hard. That
Mhm.
first step, taking that first step and actually doing it, made the next steps not so hard, not so scary.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going along day by day, but with prayer.
Yeah. Well, so what was your
Mhm,
biggest challenge, would you say, in all of the things when it comes to self, when it comes to entrepreneurship, taking the risk, just all
mhm.
the various things? What would you say was your biggest challenge?
Accepting that I wasn't all put together all the time.
Mm.
And other people would see that in this new way of thinking.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that we did in that incubator was practice pitching.
Mhm.
And I tell you what, I know I recorded 50 takes
Mhm.
of a pitch one night, just trying to get it right because I had written everything down. I can write everything down
Right.
now.
Yeah.
And then practicing and trying to make sure I get stuff word for word right. That was my approach. But the
Mhm.
instructor tried to, you know, get that out of me. Tiffany, you can't do it perfectly. You cannot do
Mhm.
it perfectly. People want to see the authentic you, not the polished, put together, just right you all the time. So what I want you to do is go live right now. She had me go live. And I went live on Instagram and I did a pitch. And it was scary because normally when I did my Friendpreneur Fridays, the live IG chats, I was prepared. The conversations would go as they went with the flow, but still I would prepare myself. So going
Mhm.
into things unprepared, the unknown is the
Yeah.
scariest thing for me, and was, but I'm getting better at accepting that with
Yeah.
faith walk. This is a faith walk.
Faith walk. Speaking of faith, and
Mhm,
your the concept has you doing a lot of networking, a lot of meeting new people, a lot of
yeah,
going into new scenarios, not knowing exactly what's going to come from that. What
mhm,
is the would you say the process by which you were able to just take those steps and begin to take those risks? I know you mentioned prayer. Is there anything
mhm,
else that stands out to you, that may help someone else who's nervous about networking, meeting new people, that sort of thing?
mhm. I can't say that I've ever been nervous about meeting people.
Mm-hmm.
I like meeting new people. And sometimes when I talk to people about networking or going to an event where they are in a room with strangers,
Mm-hmm.
people will shrink back and say, I don't like doing that. And I'm thinking, Wow, I love it. I mean, I would love to just go into a place and see who is there that I can go talk to.
Yeah.
And everybody's not like that.
Mhm.
So a friend of mine, she was like, Tiffany, how in the world do you do it? I don't know. I'm just comfortable with it, especially when I know that I get to learn something about somebody else's passion and why
Mhm.
they do what they do. And my ears always open to that. So I guess you can say I'm just too nosy to be antisocial. I'm not an
Mhm.
introvert, I
Mhm.
won't claim that. I guess I'm an extrovert because I
Mhm.
enjoy it. So I do a lot of reading too. And while I'm doing leisure reading, I also do professional development reading. And I've read some really
Yeah.
good books that have given me even more confidence. And I've taken some training at work in
Mhm.
presentation techniques and stuff that just give me more confidence about approaching people, about talking to them. The other day, Kim, I went into a barbershop to pitch an idea for an event
Mhm.
to the owner.
Mhm.
20 minutes after I had gotten his name from somebody else. And I'm like, you know
Mhm.
what? I'm going home. I'm going by there. Let me just go stop by. So I did. I went right in that place. I saw him sitting at the bar eating his chicken. And I walked up to him and I said, hey, I'm Tiffany Bargeman and blah, 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 blah. And
Right.
that was all she wrote. It's no problem now for me to pitch myself. But I think that came from repetition,
Mhm.
having to do it over and over and over. Now it comes naturally.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think practice and not always preparation, but a degree of preparation to, however you can prepare and be
Mhm.
prepared. That's one thing, but just always be ready because you never
Yeah.
know when you have to tell people about what you do.
Yeah, a quote that I learned years ago that you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. So
Hmm.
stay ready. And I believe the reading, somebody, Rhonda said, I would love to get a list of books that you are reading. I believe
I'm
that
ready. I got a list. I'll
reading,
copy and paste it.
yeah, and that's one of those things that you have to do on a regular basis in order to enhance and increase your skill set. And I always tell people
Yes.
read in your industry and also read where you want to go and read where you
Hmm.
are. Like just read, read, read is the point.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
can
I love
continue
it.
to build. Rhonda said yes. So let's talk a little bit about friendpreneurship. Let's get to the
Okay.
good. So friendpreneurship started off one specific way and has grown now to
Hmm.
have so many different components. Share with us
Hmm.
the various components.
All right. So friendpreneurship is a community, right?
Mhm.
And we try to bring people together on a regular basis to learn from each other, to be
Mhm.
inspired by each other, to build relationships with each other. And this way, my goal is to help prevent small business failure because
Mhm.
there's statistics. I don't know exactly what it is today, but the last time I checked, 50% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years. And it's
Mhm.
because of lack of knowledge and lack of access to the business tools and resources that they need to be successful. And that
Mhm.
creates cash flow issues, right?
Yeah.
So, my goal in a perpetual learning mode, whenever I'm meeting somebody who is further along in business than I am, I'm
Mhm.
looking for something that they can give me that I in turn can give somebody else.
Yeah.
So when I learn something, I can't wait to have my next event so I can share what I've learned. And I'm always, keeping information in my head that I can have ready. I try to be a perpetual resource and a
Mhm.
ready resource so that when somebody says, hey, Tiffany, I'm struggling with this or my challenge is that, do you know anybody who, and something's always right there. And I love
Yeah.
being able to share what's there because it lets me know they've gotten over a hurdle. That question
Mhm.
that they had was a blocker. And I
Mhm.
freed them from a blockage that can let them move to the next step, whatever it is, big or small. That makes me
Yeah.
feel good. That fulfills me,
Yeah.
helping people
Yeah. Yeah.
make moves. Hmm.
So
So
community.
hmm
Go ahead.
now the events. When I talk about the events, I've started calling them experiences
Mhm.
because there are so many things going on now, events, networking events, and whatnot, and that's good. That's all good. But
Mhm.
I want people to leave every experience with a feeling of I got something I needed, or I gave someone else something they needed, so that we all can grow.
Yeah.
And these experiences can be virtual or in person. And of course, we
Mhm.
have to shift and we have to pivot depending on external factors. But I want people in the same room so we can feel the energy and the spirit of friendpreneurship. You know when someone is a friendpreneur
Mhm.
by just the aura, the vibe, and the way they listen to you.
Mhm.
So if I'm telling somebody that a friendly entrepreneur is not afraid to bring others along for success, I'm watching their face. I'm watching their body language, you know. And then when I go deeper into it and I say, well, we get together on a regular basis and I'm always looking for a subject matter expert to come and share
Yeah.
what they know. I'm watching to see how they're reacting. And then when I say sometimes, that might mean coming and doing that for free.
Mhm.
And then I watch, you know, and if their face changes or if their mood shifts, I can tell, okay, this is not their current desire. And it's
Mhm.
okay
Mhm.
because when I see that shift, I I used to think, okay, well, they don't understand
Mhm.
or they're not the person I need to be talking to. But then I shifted that mindset through prayer
Mhm.
to understand that everybody is just in a different place.
Yeah.
Somebody may be in a place where they can say, okay, I have time to go and spend an hour talking to a group of entrepreneurs about a subject without getting paid for that.
Mhm.
Another entrepreneur may be like, well, I'm not in a place in my business on my business journey to be able to do that. So I'm probably not going to follow up with her. I'm cool
Mhm.
with either one.
Mhm.
So I respect everybody's journey and where they are since we're all on different planes. But anyway, the experiences, they can be a podcast interview that's going to give
Mhm.
people a platform to express their why so people will buy. And I
Yeah.
quote Simon Sinek all the time, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And that's why I love the stories behind entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Um, so whether it's virtual or in person, where we have sip and shares lately, I've started inviting people out just to be in the room, just sip. We're going to sip tea, coffee, cocktail, whatever it is, water if that's your preference. And we're going to
Mhm.
talk all things business because once you get in a room with others who are like minded, the
Mhm.
conversations that are started, ignited, they're hard to get away from. At the end of the evening, people are trying to go home or you're trying to wrap up and people are still sitting there talking because there's something that they've got in common,
Yeah.
and those conversations are just so rich. So
Yeah.
those are the sip
Yeah.
and shares, and then there are forums, a little more formal events, and I've started doing conferences. Last year I had my first one, and I want to do those quarterly, just to give entrepreneurs space to have vending opportunities and speaking engagements so that they can talk about their expertise and just have a platform to share what they do, because the more people you get exposed to, the bigger the chances are that you'll have a connection, a meaningful connection that may turn
Absolutely.
into some business opportunities and collaboration opportunities. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
that's how it goes.
I love it. And I'm such a fan. I can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a little slight pause, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, I love it, and I so for those of you who don't know, I met Tiffany again, like sort of reconnected through my old networking group, Visionary Networking Circle.
Yeah.
And the model was that we will refer within the circle before going outside of the circle, and the goal was to grow business. I met Tiffany. She was not an entrepreneur at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I met her in high school, but we
Mm-hmm.
reconnected through that outside of Facebook. We reconnected in person. And let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, she was referring and calling me all the time. What's that person's number? What's this person's number? She was referring businesses within the circle without
Mm-hmm.
having a business. And that is one of the things whenever she launched her business. I was like, I will never forget her along the side, the fact that I've known her for a while. I would not forget that gesture. And so that's one of the things to what you were just talking about when it comes to giving of your
Mm-hmm.
time and your energy and your effort. Sometimes when you go into these networking situations, you may not receive something that will benefit you necessarily, but it does benefit you by proxy because of the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it could come back to you. So I love that the friendpreneur
Mm-hmm.
understands that, and then
Yes.
building relationships lead to collaboration. That
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely synergistic, and we have so much
Yes.
synergy. So I want to share the membership community. I want to make sure to get everything in. And so the
Yes.
Friendpreneur fam is a membership community for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, designed to serve as a
Mm-hmm.
pipeline through which visionaries in all stages, which is extremely important in all
Mm-hmm.
stages of business, can leverage knowledge and accelerate access to essential tools and resources through friendpreneurship experiences. And so that sort of summarizes what Tiffany has just shared with us. And for those of you who are able, there is a QR code at the bottom of that you may want to scan, stay
Mm-hmm.
connected. But we have been sharing her information, and I'll share it one more
Thank you.
time so that you can make sure to connect with Tiffany. We will be in the Praying SheE.O. We will hopefully be doing some collaboration around networking and resources this
Mm-hmm.
summer. So we're building that out right now. So we should have some dates available. And Tiffany is a member of the Praying SheE.O. And so, as a member, it is my goal for members to be able to provide opportunities such as this podcasting, but so many more. The newsletter, talking about them behind their back in a good way.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And all of those beautiful things that we need to
Yes.
do in community to support and serve one another. Now, one of the things that I never focus on is competition. Tiffany has a membership group, and so do I, but we can partner as opposed to being collaborative. And I totally,
Absolutely.
truly believe that creating collaboration actually helps to impact the community in a better way than we can alone. And so I'm
Yes.
super proud of her. Rhonda's
Thank you.
clapping her hands.
Thank you, Rhonda. Mwah.
Yes. So
Rhonda
if
and
you,
I have a bond.
yes, you do. I know. So that's so beautiful, and that's what I love about our praying she. I mean, you just never know when
Yes.
somebody's going to come in and just be that source, that God given, God
Yes.
sent
At the
gift
right moment.
at the right
Yes.
moment that you need it.
Yep.
And so I want to thank you. Any closing words as we wrap up?
Yes. Are you a friendpreneur? That's what I wanted. I want everybody watching to ask themselves that if you're an entrepreneur. But a friendpreneur is not just a business owner. It can be
Yeah.
a small business supporter, you know? So if
Mhm.
you love to see entrepreneurs win, you're a friendpreneur because you're referring, you're promote,
Mhm.
support, repeat. That's your mantra in your head.
Mhm.
Promote that person's business and do it over and over again. You know, that
Yeah.
support can come monetarily, it could be energy, time, whatever resources. But
Mhm.
I just want to shout out Kimberly. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for the Praying SheE.O. It keeps me grounded and disciplined. And I want to mention tomorrow's Sip and Share. It's hard to say that. Sip and Share is going to be at MSI Brand Lab. And my good friendpreneur, McKeel Shaw, he's going to be our venue co-host. So it'll be at his venue, 1100 Logger Court, Suite F102 in Raleigh. And we're going to get together. He's going to give us some brand storytelling tips. And we're
Mhm.
going to sip, we're going to network and build relationships. And it's going to be great. So I'm excited. Y'all come see us.
Yeah,
I'll
that
be a
sounds
guest.
so good. One of the things that I truly love about small, intimate, and or larger networking events is that you have such an opportunity to give
Mm-hmm.
and to attract exactly what you need by walking into the room with a posture of service. And so I would just say to anyone going tomorrow, be open to receive, but also walk in to give, because then you're
Yes.
going to get so much more than you could
Yes.
imagine. So if she's looking for
Absolutely.
friendpreneurs, she's been a friendpreneur
Yes.
herself a long time. So
Yes.
we welcome you to join. All right. So one more time, Tiffany Bargeman of Friendpreneurship
Mhm.
LLC. Be sure to follow, like, share, all that good stuff. Share out this broadcast so more people can know about the work that Tiffany is doing in the community, especially for entrepreneurs. And so thank you, Tiffany, again, and you're
Welcome.
welcome. I'll continue to love on you as much as I can.
Thank you.
And I
Keep
just
praying for
love,
me too, and I'll pray for you.
absolutely, I appreciate it. Thank you for how you support the Praying SheE.O. and how you share everything that we have going on. We really, truly appreciate you and love that you're a member. So,
Thank you.
you all
Peace.
have an amazing rest of your evening. Thank you to everyone who joined. We'll be back here with another Women's History Month spotlight. A little bit later tomorrow, we'll be joined by four women And so it's going to be at 8 o'clock tomorrow instead of 7 o'clock. And I'm truly excited about this focus on powerful collaboration on tomorrow night. So come right back here, 8 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, and we will see you. Have a good night.
All right.
This has been a Coffee and Collaborations Media production.